Hello and welcome to my weekly live training Reconnect TV. My name is Faye Semple and I'm the spiritual geomancer to female entrepreneurs, leaders and change makers. And I've been working for over 30 years, working in the fields of manifestation, spirituality and energy. My mission, if you like, is to reconnect women to the ancient spirituality and divine power of the sacred feminine through the embodiment of the creative and generative forces that can give form to their dreams. We, as we know, are energetic beings. Oh, if you're joining me live, if you can just put hashtag live, and if you're joining me on replay, put hashtag replay. I'd also be really interested to know where you're joining me from live, because I get people viewing now from all around the world, from everywhere in all different time zones. And I think it's great that we now have this social media platform that enables us entrepreneurs, particularly who do rather unusual things. My cat's decided to join me again, sit on my feet. Every week he does this. As soon as I go live, he gets on my feet, bless him. Yeah, I think it's great that we have this platform to sort of share this information about what we do to a wider audience. And yeah, just to give value, give you something that will help you change your life. So many of us out there have been or are stuck in a scarcity mentality, or we've reached a level of success and we've kind of plateaued and we can't get any further. I particularly work with successful female entrepreneurs who have reached a lot of their financial goals, but are now either spiritually awakened or are coming awake. And in many cases, they've done months, even years worth of spiritual work. But what they've found is that a lot of information out there doesn't suit them. It's a bit too woo-woo, a bit too pink and fluffy, if you like, and actually lacks real basis. And I've studied for many years quantum physics, neuroscience. My practices, my spiritual practices are real, they're active, they're based on proven science, but they give you tools and practices that you can use every day to unlock that spiritual side of yourself, if you like, to become more alive, more aware. And it changes how we create and manifest our reality. We need to become more aware to create the changes that we need to change our lives, but we can only be as aware as we are at the time. So I provide a set of tools and practices for women who are looking for grounded spiritual techniques that give them real results. A lot of the stuff I see online about spirituality, some of it's marvelous, some of it's great, some of it is very much fluffy, not based in the real world, and can take us away from our real development in not very healthy ways. So there's an awful lot of stuff online that just is doesn't really help us in many respects. It's just not based in reality. Fundamentally, if I'm brutally honest, we can sit in a lotus position and stare at a scented candle all we like and create positive affirmations, but it's about acting. It's about understanding how our brain frequency works. It's about understanding how subliminal processes work, and it's about clearing all that away. So when I talk about more than manifestation, we all know, we're all aware, we've all read it, haven't we? And many of us practice it, and some of you have got there and some of you haven't yet, that we are manifestors. Now, we manifest all the time. Stop fiddling with your pen, Faye. We manifest all the time. What we often do is we subconsciously manifest our worst fears. So we'll be there and we'll be journaling and we'll be writing out in the morning, as I do, 3 gratitude statements. What am I grateful for? Everything from a good night's sleep to having both my arms and legs to something bigger. But gratitude increases your level of happiness, which raises your vibration. So gratitude is really important. And you often feel like when you're in the depths of despair, oh, I've got nothing to be grateful for. There is always something to be grateful for. You're alive. You can see, you can hear, you can feel. That's something to be grateful for. There is always something to be grateful for. So even in the depths, It's really important that you try and shift your mentality to find something that you're grateful for. And that must continue no matter how successful you get. That gratitude always has to stay with you. It's just that the things that you're grateful for, sometimes you have to get back down and go, actually, fundamentally, what am I grateful for? You know, we can be grateful for the nice car, the nice house, but fundamentally, I always wake up in the morning and think, you know, I'm grateful for waking up. That I didn't go anywhere in my sleep, you know, and I say I've got all my limbs attached and they all are roughly speaking the right length. They all bend where they're supposed to and they all work how they should. You know, I'm upright and I'm breathing. What's not to like about that? And then, you know, we get into the habit of writing those positive affirmations. So they might be related to money, they might be related to self-worth. So we try and alter our subconscious programming. And there are tricks and techniques to doing that, because sometimes, no matter how hard we're saying affirmations, we can, in effect, still be self-sabotaging ourselves through the mechanisms that we're doing that. It's important that you keep your manifestations positive. It's also important that you follow through with those actions. And there are techniques to help rewire your brain using actual frequency techniques, which is one of the techniques that I really enjoy, is using those positive affirmations in line with white noise, if you like, of the theta wave frequency, because that helps subliminally unlock all those negative self-beliefs we have about why we can't achieve and why we're not worthy and what will people think and all those awful things that, you know, so many people carry around for so many years, until you reach that point where you think, you know what, I am worthy and I am abundant and what I do is of value and I don't have to know everything. I just know enough to help the next person who's on the little rung of the ladder below me, and I can just give them that hand up. So, as I say, manifesting is, if you like, a mental, emotional, and physical synchronicity of energy. Now, everything is energy. Your physical body is energy. Your mind is energy. When we're manifesting the good stuff, we're more active players in that manifestation, rather than fearful scarcity mindset. Oh God, that's my worst fear. No, now I've brought it into being kind of mentality. So we subconsciously manifest all the time. And when we get good at that, we reach a certain level of success. And it's there, really, if you like, that my work really kicks in. Yes, I help people to create the life that they want, to manifest different things and to get their alignment right. But my work with the Sacred Feminine, obviously, this is all part of that. But I just want to talk a little bit more about manifestation and what I mean by the Divine Feminine or Sacred Feminine, however you want to call it. Now, Divine Feminine or Sacred Feminine energy is something that we as women embody. Now, there's a lot of stuff online about all the Sacred Feminine runs in men as well, and it's a dynamic, and it is. Sacred Feminine energy, if you like, is the energy, the creative and generative energy that creates everything. You know, we talk about Mother Earth, the moon we perceive as feminine. There are different qualities of energy that we know are the creative forces that women embody. We produce children, we give birth. You know, it's not everybody, admittedly, not everybody wants to do that, but generally that's our body is the embodiment of those forces. And we have a particular kinship with nature. Men have their relationship with nature, we have ours. It's a different kind of energy. So what happens with divine energy, if you like, if you imagine the yin and the yang symbol, you've got a bit of yin and a bit of yang, or yin and then yang, and you've got a bit of, which way around did I do it? Anyway, you've got a bit of yin and yang in each other, haven't you? But they're, roughly speaking, they're this marriage, this unity that makes the whole. So the divine masculine and feminine come into unity to create. We as women embody the divine feminine. Men embody the divine masculine. Now, when they embody that well, they are as empathic, caring, nurturing as women are, but they just do it in a different way. They have different root seats of power. They have different way of actioning things that women, and we are designed to complement each other. But the fundamental thing that I find is a modern society schism, if you like, is that the divine feminine women have been placed in this unequal position of lack of power, lack of resources, lack of everything. So successful female entrepreneurs are, if you like, where they handle wealth the value they give back to other women, the support they give to other women, is a way of redressing some of that schism. But women need to actually, in terms of economy, women do need to acquire more wealth. And because we deal with wealth differently, the top companies with more women CEOs, they know they make more money and they attract more clients. We have a different way of dealing with things that spreads the wealth rather than holds on to it. Anyway, I won't go down there now. But yeah, so men and women both express divine energy. Women embody the sacred feminine and men embody the sacred masculine. So when we have got that alignment right in ourselves, that manifestation alignment, if you like, that we've got rid of those subconscious subliminal beliefs and we've raised our vibration and we're learning how to live our own truth. And we know when we're aligned and we're living in it and we're embodying it, then we can create success. Now, as I say, I'm aware that not everybody has even got to that level yet. So I've got a really exciting announcement coming soon about a webinar to talk to you about the 4 basic pillars of alignment that will enable you to manifest the stuff that you want. So that will be announced soon. That will be a live webinar that you can attend with me, and I'll put details up of that soon. So bear with me on that one. But to me, as I say, within that divine feminine, within that alignment, within that manifestation, there is a missing element that not a lot of spiritual teachers talk about. Now, as I say, ever since I have been born, I have been able to see energy that's not normally visible to the visible spectrum. So I see auras, chakras, I see energy around trees, around rocks, I see energy lines through the landscape, I see large columns rising, I see donuts coming up around them, like toroid shapes as their form. I see all sorts of geometric, mathematical shapes of energy permeating and surrounding everything. Maths is the language of creation, which is why I ended up studying physics as I got older, because I wanted to know where everybody walked around in dodecahedrons. So when we freed ourselves of this internal scripts that hold us back, what we then have is much more of a capacity to communicate and negotiate with these energies around us. Now, if we realize that our own consciousness is not contained within our mind, our physical brain does not contain our consciousness, our mind is information and fields. Therefore, we free ourselves of the belief that an organism or a thing in the universe needs to have a physical body or a brain to be conscious. We can take that belief away, because actually everything is conscious. The scientific proposition now is that the universe is a mind. It is a conscious mind. It's not that there is consciousness within the universe. The universe is conscious, and we and everything in it is a physical expression of that universe trying to develop its own consciousness. We are active players in that role. So then we can realize that everything is in fact conscious, so that we look around us into the natural world, and the whole universe is natural. There is nothing in the universe that wasn't created by nature. We can look around where we live, the business that we operate, the trees outside our garden, the ground that we're stood on, the water that we drink, plants that we eat, and we can realize that they are all conscious. And that means we are not the only creator of our reality. Reality, the physical world that we see, the scientific argument is now that it only looks physical and contained because of this energetic mind that we're all a part of, processes and observes that energetic information fields and creates reality in front of us to look like solid. But we're not the only ones doing that. Nature itself is doing that, and the universe is doing that. So we are not the sole creators of our reality. We are co-creators, and there are many other co-creators out there. The universe, the natural world, is a co-creator. Now, I know these concepts are going to come strange to many people, but in terms of ancient spiritual practice and ancient religions, these concepts are embedded underneath a lot of that. It's only in modern society, when religion and science became split, that religion became only concerned with the soul of the human, and everything else went into the scientific realm, whereas previously to that, the natural world was part of religion as well. So all creatures are God's creatures. All things are created equal. In all religion, there are these fundamental beings that everything is created in the divine image. Everything is created equal. We are not special players because we have a slightly different level of consciousness or perceived level of consciousness than that tree outside, than that bush out there. We're all levels of consciousness. Now, as I say, I see energy around everything. And I know, because I've always seen it, and there are a lot of people who say to me, oh, no, you don't. And oh, yes, I do. And, you know, I've had brain scans and brainwave looked at and all sorts of things to find out what's going on. When we talk to the natural world, when we engage with it on a spiritual level, whether that be verbally or through practice, we get a response back. We put questions out there to our environment about how it's feeling, what it's doing, and how it can support us. And instantly those information fields, those mathematical shapes, send information back to us. What we often do is we over logic and we overthink, and we go, oh no, I didn't really feel that, or that was a bit spooky, or we don't even notice the little messages or the synchronicity. So my practice, what I do with my clients is that I mentor them one-to-one to work with the energies that I see. So that involves me working out, we look at the very home that they live in, the entity that is their business, because your business, this is another concept that people nowadays have great difficulty with, is that everything, if you like, has a spirit. So the spirit of enterprise, the spirit of your business, the spirit of your journey. These, again, up until fairly recently, modern industrialization, if you like, have been concepts. You know, we gave a blessing to the journey. We give a blessing to the foundation stone of a new building. We bless a ship by cracking a champagne bottle on its bow. These are sort of not hang-ups, they're residual practices from long-held beliefs. And we know scientifically that there are special places in the landscape that have different electromagnetic forces. They're often near geological fault lines. They're normally ancient sacred sites because they affect our brain waves differently and they make us feel different. So the very landscape that we're on has energies that interact with us. We are not an island. We are very much affected by the natural world out there. There are huge fields of scientific study in this. Chronobiology knows that our body clocks and our body processes and how our organs function, the timings of those things are beyond us. The timings of those things are related to the movement of the sun, the moon, the earth, and weather, and electromagnetic forces, and the light spectrum. They're all beyond our control, but they're all actually conscious forces that we can work with. So, and biophilia knows that we have to have this deep connection. There's a deep desire in us to be connected out there in greenery to the natural world. It is a fundamental need. We are human beings designed and evolved to live on the earth. We are connected to it. We're not designed to be shut all the time in nice little white boxes with Wi-Fi and TV and never go outside. You know, the lack of connection is symbolic in society with the level of dysfunction and unhealth and dis-ease and fracture in society. We're just no longer connected. It doesn't mean that we all need to go back to living in mud huts, but we do need to have that. We do need to reconnect ourselves to the divine feminine, the natural world. And when we do that, when we realize that that world is conscious, and that opens up a whole other realm of manifestation that we can't do alone. There are certain things you can achieve by working with those consciousnesses, that you get information through from your higher self, because your higher self knows the fastest and quickest way of getting everywhere you want to know. Normally, you just got to learn to listen to it. But there are things beyond our control, like the ground, like the moon, like the sun, that we can't influence. But when we can learn to interpret energy and get information from those fields, then we can really start to work to do something. So my clients who I work with, so for instance, I will work through them. I look at where they are. We look at their energetic health now, because even successful people can still have residual energy blocks and residual patterns within their energy field. They may have done so much conscious work that they've removed a lot, but we can have things that are really deeply embedded. So past life trauma, ancestral trauma, miasms. There can be all sorts of things that we look at, and what star sign we're born at. I mean, I am quite scientific, and there is there is a definite basis to astrology, and I would not dismiss anything. And I, work with astrologers on the program too, so women can understand. There's my cat again. Understand why they're affected at different times. We know that star signs have particular characteristics. It's not, that science yet probably hasn't caught up with all the whys and wherefores, but science is catching up with things all the time that we didn't think were possible 20 years ago. And now science comes along with an explanation. So one of the things I would be looking at with my clients is I look at their ancestral and past life trauma and miasms they're carrying within themselves to clear off anything that might need to be clearing. And then we look, as we say, I work with them one-to-one on the energies within their home, where they're working from, the consciousness of their business. Because if there are interruptions in the energy fields and the energy forms within your homes, you can get ill, you can not sleep very well. For instance, there's a massive correlation between things like cancer and certain conditions with the presence of certain underground water, which I will teach you to recognize and teach you to work. So we recognize what is happening in your area, in your house and in your business, if you like, if on another level, to work out what's there. Then the next step of the process is to work out what's not happy within that range, what needs healing. Now, depending on where you live or what's happening around you, landscape itself, the consciousness of landscape can hold trauma, sites of battlefields, sites of abattoirs, car crashes, rapes, murders, things, the nasty things that go on in life leave a residual impact on the energy field. We know, for instance, that studies of monks healing accident black spots on roads where there are frequent crashes, when they were there meditating, healing that area, the instances of crashes went right down, statistically significantly down. So healing the landscape is a really important part, and recognizing that within that landscape there are consciousnesses that you can work with. Now, once we've looked at the energy in your environment and the energy in your business on another level and the energies of you, we can work out what's there, and then we take away the negative to get you into a kind of a stasis place. And then the next part of the process is to work with those energies to not only take them from neutral, feeling okay, is to enhance them so that they are the best that they can be. If you like, we are creating modern day sacred space within where you live. And sacred space is a hugely fundamental part of altering your spirituality and your states of consciousness. We look at how sacred space is defined in cathedrals, Stonehenge, Newgrange, Göbekli Tepe. Those are all sacred spaces going back 40, 50,000 years. But mankind realized that certain places have special significance. Now, your house may not be on somewhere that has huge sacred significance, but it is possible to create sacred space using what you've got within your home, within your area. So the next stage of the process would be to create that sacred space, working in alignment with the consciousnesses that are there, taking guidance from them. What do you need to do? How do you need to work with that space? And being aware of those things. So by doing that, you unlock huge parts of yourself and you create an environment where you can really, really function on an optimum level with, if you like, a support team all around you. Isn't the totality of what I've done? That's like a synopsis of what I do. So we work with the ebbs and flows of the lunar year, so how the sun, the energies of your environment, the energies of you and everything around you have ebbs and flows with regard to the lunar months, the solar year. So it's working out how those energies shift, move, broaden and shrink throughout the 12-month period, which is why I work with my clients for 12 months. Because while they're learning, I will be working on the energies of the properties with them, mapping them out, showing them how to engage with them, where to sit, where to be, where to achieve key things within themselves and their business to allow them to grow. But over the 12-month period, those energies will change and shift and change and shift. So it's about me mentoring them so that they can use the techniques and practices that I give them tune in to those energies. And that may involve dowsing, using a crystal to identify where these energies are and where is the best place for you to be in them. It also may involve muscle testing. Your body doesn't lie. You can tell yourself something is true, but actually when you do a muscle testing experiment to find out, is this right for me? And you have a weak muscle test, then no, it's not right for you. So dowsing and muscle testing are key parts of what I do. They're one of the tools to identify how you can interact with energies and consciousness all around you to accelerate your spiritual growth, to enhance your productivity, to bring a whole new dimension to life and to your business, so that you as a successful female entrepreneur can break through any plateau that you've reached. But also, once you've reached that level of success, is to give more back. So for me, tapping into the divine feminine is about redressing that schism between the imbalance of power between masculine and feminine, between male and female. It's also about changing our perception of the natural world so that we perceive the earth as not just a resource. Oh, the earth has so many resources left that we can take. Is to change our perception of the earth as a resource that we have a right to take what we want to, because the knock-on effect of that has been this lack of communication between us and the levels of consciousness and spirit, if you like, within the natural world. Now, as I said, I see energies and I hear energies actually as well. I hear noise. Now, I hear the screams of a tree when it's cut down. I hear all sorts of things from mining and all sorts of things. There is a noise that is very distressing. And we know from measuring plants, we know that when you rip the branch off a tree, we know from measuring the electromagnetic fields around that plant that it does in effect emit a scream, and all the other plants go into fear. So fundamentally, we've got huge questions to ask about how we deal with our natural world, why we're ripping up forests, how we can deal with food production basically and resource production. So obviously we need to eat, we need to feed the planet. So anyway, part of my work is about changing the way we perceive the world around us and then engaging with those levels of consciousness around us. So if we could all work differently with our little patch, those little patches will all start to link together, and it'll change the nature of how we deal with society and how we as successful female entrepreneurs can give back to change the dynamic within society, to help other women, to encourage more of the divine masculine in men so that they step forward. Together we are a unified force. Together we can achieve so much. So if any of this resonates with you, I say you may not be at the manifestation stage yet. You may be, as I was, the manifesting your worst fears of scarcity and lack of abundance. So as I say, I'm going to have a webinar coming up about that soon, which I will go through the 4 golden keys, if you like, to manifestation. That'll be a live webinar where you'll be able to join me, and I'll give you tools and processes that you can work through. And it will lead into, for those that want it, it will lead into a self-taught course that you will be able to get your hands on, so that you can go away with a lifetime's access to working on your manifestation techniques. But for anybody who's interested in the full, for working with me on the really accelerating your spiritual transformation to succeed, to achieve more, to get your mission out there, to make a difference, to give back, you work one-to-one with me, and it will take you from that place of, I don't know what's spiritually sound, I don't know what's spiritually real, I want something that I can engage with, I can feel is working, that achieves real results, that I can see is impacting my life, my relationships, my business. That I'm going from, oh, I'm successful, but there's more to life, I don't know what, and I want to engage with that, but I want to do it in a way that's meaningful and real and creates results, and is not going to involve me, don't get me wrong, I love burning incense, but solely burning incense and staring at candles, not actually achieving anything. the issue with some of the new sort of, if you like, pseudo spirituality, as I say, is it doesn't actually engage in any depth. It just gives us another route to procrastinate and hide behind as to why we haven't achieved what we wanted to achieve. So we say, oh, the energies weren't aligned. Oh, it wasn't, you know, it was written in the stars. The moon was in the wrong place. None of these things can make you manifest or feel anything. All they will do is push your buttons as to where you need to be making changes within your mental and emotional framework. So as I say, the moon, it will not make you behave in a particular way, but it will push those buttons where you need to make changes. Or if you're already accepting of those changes and you're actioning them, it will accelerate that change. It can bring about the changes faster that you're trying to achieve. So for those women who that's resonated with, who would like to really explore, if you like, the more than human realms of consciousness and being more than human ourselves, or as Deepak Chopra probably call it, metahuman. If you want to explore those kind of topics with me, then I only take a limited number of women every year because it is quite intense. It is one-to-one. Yes, I will go through all the workbooks and things with you, but it'll techniques with you and teach you, and it will involve me working. I don't have to meet you one-to-one or face-to-face, but it will involve me working remotely on the energies in your home with you, times and places to suit you, etc., or all your homes, wherever you are in the world, to create the energies that enable you to be the best version of yourself, so you can work through your mission, so you can give back, so you can create your own success, and you can help other women achieve the success, or your clients, men and women, to achieve the success in the thing that you are helping them for. So as I say, if you can relate to this, I only take a limited number of ladies each year because it is quite intense, it's quite transformational, it's not for the faint-hearted. I'm not, I'll give it to you straight down the line. I won't pussyfoot about. I won't go, oh yeah, that's fine, when it isn't. No bullshit, you've still got blocks, this is it, this is that. So I'm opening my diary for 5 ladies to give free discovery calls next week. Give you the opportunity to ask me questions, and I can give the opportunity, and I also will push you to work out what you need, what you want, what where you want to grow spiritually, what your goals are, what you're trying to achieve, so that you can make next year the best yet. Step into that next level of success. It's not a massive investment. You can pay up front or you can pay on a monthly fee, but there are monthly packages to make it easier for you. But it is a hugely transformative experience that can, as I say, push you onto the next level. So if you want a discovery call with me, drop me a message, drop me a direct message, and I'll send you a friend request, and we can have a conversation and get on that call to work out what you want to do, how you want to show up next year and in life, and how to make next year your best yet. Let's take your mission and your voice and use the consciousnesses within the environment. Let's use the sylphs in the air to spread your message. Let's use all those levels of consciousness that can help get you out there and functioning in the most amazing level of being more than human that you ever thought possible. So for those who are in my group, Sacred Feminine Divine Feminine CEOs, this is a private group. Tomorrow we're doing part 2 of this training. It's exclusive training only for the group. I'll be talking about the 3 golden keys to spirituality, and I'll be going through how you can access more than human levels of consciousness, and I'll be going through one of the tools that I use, which is working with the energies in your home. I'll be talking about the concept within that and how that is so important, why the home is so important. Here's the postman. Why the home is so important, and how you can access those energies to access sources of power and information on a worldwide and universal scale. We are part of this fantastic universe. It is abundant. It is full of magic. Tap into that. So come and join me. If you're not in the group, come and join me tomorrow, and I hope to see you all later. And if you want a discovery call, as I say, I work with a few ladies each year, so drop me a message below. And apart from that, keep a lookout for the notice on this page with regard to my live webinar about the 4 golden keys for manifestation, because I know that not many people, not everybody has got this knack of manifesting yet. So it'll be a webinar where I'll go through those golden keys with you, and then you'll have the option to go on to learn further with me. All right, take care, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.